Whether you're migrating from an old system, integrating contacts from an event, or working with purchased datasets, you'll eventually need to bring external data into your Dynamics 365 environment. Mistakes made during this process are one of the most common causes of data quality issues. Poor imports can undermine reporting, disrupt workflows, and over time, reduce trust in your Dynamics 365 system. This is why approaching data imports strategically, not just as a technical task, is critical to maintaining accurate, complete records that drive meaningful engagement. We'll explore best practices and pitfalls, provide insights on what we've learned from supporting customers over the years. The number one cause of failed imports is poor formatting, so it's worth taking some time here. Dynamics 365 supports two main formats, CSV and Excel files. A good starting point is to use the official Dynamics import template. This is found in the advanced settings. This will provide an Excel file with the columns of your table. When adding data to the template, here are some common mistakes to avoid. Dynamics requires clean, structured data. So if your template has merged cells in the column headers, the system won't be able to match your columns correctly. Always keep headers as single unmerged cells. In addition, dates written in different formats, for example, day, month, year in some rows, and then month, day, year in others, can cause errors or result in incorrect data being imported. Decide on a single date format before you start and apply it across your dataset. Columns in Dynamics have character limits. If your cell value is too long, it will be rejected. Keep an eye on column lengths and trim or adjust your content where needed before attempting the import. You should thoroughly clean your data import file before importing. Now that may sound obvious, but data quality issues often occur due to a lack of quality control prior to import. It's always much easier to fix issues in Excel than after when they're already inside Dynamics. For larger datasets, remove duplicates and standardize formatting ahead of time. We suggest making a note of the required columns when importing records for your table. For these, this typically includes email addresses, first and last names, and phone numbers. Ensuring required columns are inside your import file with populated data beforehand will save valuable time. Clear formatting of the header will aid Dynamics to predefine how it should be mapped during the import process. If data records inside columns that are required by Dynamics are left blank, your import may fail. Even if it does succeed, missing data can create long-term problems, such as gaps in reporting, difficulties with segmentation, creating accurate views, and records not being picked up correctly in workflows. A quick way you can check which columns are required is by navigating to a form and looking for columns labelled with an asterisk. However, your form might not include all of them, or it's difficult to see as they may be spread across different tabs. The definitive way to check this is to use Power Apps. You can navigate to the list of columns and filter by required. As mentioned earlier, you can import using Excel or CSV. We typically prefer CSV because these files are more lightweight, which is important for large datasets. They're also used universally for exporting and importing from different systems, and therefore more compatible. CSVs are also plain text, so they avoid hidden formatting issues and formulas that often trip up Excel files. Once you've decided on the file you want to import, you'll then see an option for allowing duplicates. We recommend setting this to No, which tells Dynamics to use your system's matching rules. For example, if an import record shares an email address with an existing lead, it won't be added. You can review these rules in the advanced settings of your Dynamics environment. In our experience, a good practice is, if you're working with a large file, start with a small sample of 10 to 50 records to test before you commit to the full dataset. Once it looks correct, import in batches of around 5,000 records. This makes the process easy to manage and errors more actionable. Next, you'll reach the column mapping screen. If you use the official template, Dynamics will map columns automatically. If not, you may need to map these manually. Source columns are on the left, Dynamics columns are on the right. You will face data issues if you map to the wrong column, so please take time to check that you've configured this correctly. We recommend that you save your mapping so you don't have to repeat this process. You can find this on the drop-down menu. We also advise that you use a unique identifier column in your file, such as an import batch ID or a date. This makes it easy to trace, validate, or even delete a batch later if something goes wrong. During the import process, you will need to map it to a column that can be used for unique identification, such as import sequence number. You may need to create a new column, depending on your table. Click Finish Import and you'll see a status screen where you can track the progress. You can also access this later in the advanced settings. This process can take time, especially when importing thousands of records involving numerous columns. If there are failures, download the error file, correct the issues, and re-import just these rows. Typical causes include duplicates and formatting mismatches. Having a recovery plan is also crucial. If an import doesn't go to plan, you'll want a fast way to roll this back. This is where that unique identifier column helps. You can quickly filter records by the ID and then perform a bulk delete. Successful imports aren't only about technical execution, they rely on good governance. Firstly, put data quality first. There's no need to compound problems by importing messy or inconsistent data. Rubbish in means rubbish out. So think carefully about data relationships between your tables. If you're importing leads that belong to accounts, import these companies as accounts first, then link leads to them via the lookup column. This will require 2 or more imports, but it ensures your data is correctly structured. In addition, make sure you set the correct permissions. Not everyone should be importing data. Limit this to experienced users or admins who understand the process and best practices. Finally, treat your import file responsibly. Avoid storing sensitive data on local machines and never share customer data with external AI tools for troubleshooting. It's tempting to resolve issues quickly, but this can create compliance and security risks. We strongly recommend that you work with a trusted Dynamics partner if you need support. Data importing in Dynamics 365 is critical functionality, but requires attention to detail. By preparing your data carefully, testing in small batches, and following best practices for governance and recovery, you'll set yourself up for both successful imports and long-term data integrity. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more insights into Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform.